And all systems are green. Salutations, class! And welcome back to Pokemon FireRed. Where we last left off, we had been messing around... Wait a minute. Okay. I realized what's not capturing. The game audio is not capturing. There we go. Everything should be optimal again. Salutations, class, and welcome back. Where we last left off, we had just finished messing around with Saffron City. We've defeated both the gym, the dojo, and we even went all our way through Silph Tower. That was basically the entire stream last time. Then we came up to our very last moment from last stream being a little bit of preparation for the Zapdos fight. But as you can see, a lot of our Pokemon are about 10 or 15 levels underneath. So, after a little bit of a poll being held in the Discord, we've decided to postpone that until most of my team is around the level 50-ish area. Lots of good news there. We'd be able to have Dragonite by then. A lot of our Pokemon would be far more resistant. So instead, we're heading off to Foam Islands and then Cinnabar. Even though I don't technically believe we have to do Foam Islands yet, it's another nice little dungeon for us to get through. And plenty of new Pokemon to see and potentially catch. Warmest welcomes to Storm, Marky, Mal. Glad to see all of y'all. Alright. Grab our usual squad again. Welcome back onto the team, Marissa. And until Dragonite is our designated flyer, we don't really have one. Get our way down to Fuchsia and then we'll swap back over. What are your opinions on the idea of a hybrid Shiv? It's possible, Storm, but there's not any reason to be doing it. Unless, like, their entire team stacks extreme amount of spirit resistance, then you really don't need any gun damage on him whatsoever. Like, if you want to spend one slot for Berserker, that's kind of the only really good item he could use. His spirit damage is so core to his kit that you don't really need to be doing any hybrid things with him. You'd be expecting the more gun-oriented characters on your team to pick up that slack. His gun doesn't end up doing much, and his knives, on the other hand, do so much instead. Your choice for tanky gun character, Storm, is gonna be Billy. Alright, we've already fought all the trainers around here. I knew someone was missing. We shouldn't be surfing everywhere with Dragonair. Alright, let's get Nitori back on the squad. Howdy, Kahila. How are you doing this evening? We are off on our way to Seafoam. Per the vote in the Discord, we are gonna wait to do anything relating to catching Zapdos or any of the legendary birds. Now, it's been, what, 20 years since I did anything related to Seafoam Island, so I have no idea how much of that dungeon ends up being a whole HM puzzle just to get to Articuno, or just to get to the other side. Head hurt because of homework. I have been there before. I remember not having that much trouble with some of my initial college courses, you know, right out of high school when you do your first semester or two. A lot of the math classes there were kind of things I'd already gotten to in a number of my AP classes, but once we got to Calculus 2, that stuff confused me to no end. Just surf and strength? Not really a problem. We got our way to get through that. I'm pretty proud of how balanced their levels are so far. I don't have an ADHD diagnosis, Kahila, but the chances are very likely I do have it. Heck, you know who could tank a hypnosis? For all intents and purposes, assume I do have ADHD. Because regardless of whether or not I have it, a number of the other conditions I have going on with my big smarty smooth brain tend to feature the same symptoms. So even if I don't have ADHD, I'm affected like I do have ADHD, if that makes sense. Typical evil genius. Very, very true. You want a character with a shotgun? That puts a lot of emphasis on the shotgun. That would be, Silver. Storm, your answer is Silver. Because while you did work doing some abstracts, you have issues with sitting down to read and make a laconic version of what you're reading. It's been a long time since I had to do any book reports. That would be, I don't even think I had to do anything like that in college English language courses. Yeah, no, I don't think I was wait, I did have a literature class, I do remember, because we spent most of that semester reading the Epic of Gilgamesh and reporting on it. This is for a law rather than a book. I mean, regardless, it's still summarizing a large amount of reading you've been doing. But yeah, making a short version of summarizing any of that stuff, I do see the difficulties with it. Hey, great on the flinch. Is this part of your safety courses and such, Kahila? That's what I imagine. We're going to use return, which we don't get to do very often. Don't usually have much of a reason to do that with me today. That's no way to treat my little brother, she says. After ambushing me in the ocean. What's with all y'all out here? Oh, I just love your ride. Can I have it if I... Excuse you. You do not get to steal my Blastoise. So, what's the case, Kahila? Workplace health and environment. I know that was an accident, but it's funny. I like to imagine otherwise. So is it a case of you just have to read something and then be able to summarize it, which is usually a good indicator on whether or not you understand something? If you can make succinct your understanding of the text. Eight pages long, effectively 6. Usually, well, as much as I hate to say it, the first recommendation is not to be watching a streamer while you have to be doing that kind of work. But I have absolutely been there where I'd be trying to read, I'd get to the end of the page and then realize, hey, I don't remember anything of that entire page I just read. Big ADHD thing of my mind drifting as well. Assumably, presumably, ADHD. Valid, Gahila. That wasn't meant as any sort of a bit of a, that wasn't meant to be a snark so much as a meta commentary on the situation, I suppose. We could probably sweep through here a lot easier with probably Sidewinder. Let's get you up here. And maybe a full heal for Blocky, in case we do need them soon. But what usually helps me focus is instrumental music. I've noticed that if I'm trying to do something like programming, for example, I don't get to listen to a lot of my usual music with lyrics because I will end up typing down what I'm hearing. Yeah, the weaker version of Giga Drain. It's funny that they buffed it so much in newer generations, and it usually doesn't see that much use anyway. Like, I see a lot of Drain Punch use because you have a lot of super high physical attack fighting types. Like, one of my favorite sets is Guts, Flame, Orb, Conkeldurr. I like the idea of the fact that you're constantly taking damage, but have an absolutely hits like a truck attack that helps you restore your health. Really cool set. Kind of ends up being a berserker sort of situation. You have a lot of self-damage and lifesteal. Is that the first Tentacruel we found? What a powerful sprite. Very good design, very intimidating. Playing like Moko. Exactly, exactly. I recently broke a promise to myself, unfortunately. I do see our 750 follower/subscriber milestone on the horizon. Granted, given the pacing of things, it might still be a year away. But we could have any sort of big, super lucky stream, or with a much more frequent stream schedule, things could change. I did recently get enough of a bonus to where I'd be able to keep up with playing a lot more recently come out games, which would end up being popular around now. But on that note, I have been playing a bit of Puppet Dance Performance to refamiliarize myself with the game. And in that game, we do have stuff like the 75 BP, 10 PP drain attacks and such. Matt J. Dave's Tuhu quizzes. I gotta get a look at those. But funny enough, in Puppet Dance Performance, there is a specific Moko version, which does have the I'm going to do lots of extra damage, but self-damage at the same time while doing it. Which, funny enough, is also a potential Wish Passer Cleric set, too. Really interesting build. I like that every Toho gets 3 different potential forms in that game. Some of them are blessed where all of their evolutions are good. Some of them, unfortunately, do not have that privilege. I mean, I think it's very appropriate to Moko just as a personality and character design point. The fact that Moko has had that prior feud with Kaguya so long, it does seem pretty character appropriate to be able to throw all caution to the wind and put yourself at risk just to the sake of spiting another. I'm needing a lot more tea this evening. Kahila, I trust you to pace yourself. If you are needing to be productive, I do trust you to do that when you consider it responsible. Sometimes I've had cases where, okay, I'll allow myself goofing off for 2 hours before I get to work. Aww. Thank you, Cat Violence Loving Gamer. If there is a preferred abbreviation to that game, let me know. But welcome in, welcome in. Hila does not trust herself. I completely understand that. I say I trust my own responsibility, and I guess in some cases if I end up making a choice, I don't really have a way to verify if doing it the other way would have been a lot better, since a lot of times I have situations where I'll pick one way to do something, and the circumstances for when I end up doing something like that again are different enough that I don't have a confirmation on if I made the right choice or not. So Troll later on with Lightning Rod. Does that even happen this generation? Wasn't that the 5th generation hidden ability? It doesn't give immunity this generation, but they put it on ground type. I will never get some of the Gen 3 designs. I feel like there were a lot of earlier legendaries that were ruined just by having Pressure be the token legendary ability. That's the ability on, like, the legendary dogs, too, right? Legendary beasts. Because I know it's on the birds, I know it's on Mewtwo. It's on legendary beasts Lugia and Ho-Oh, too, right? What was your starter Pokemon? We picked Blastoise this time. I've had previously a run with Venusaur. When I played through FireRed the very, very first time, I was on Team Venusaur, and I still am. If I had to pick a favorite Gen 1 starter, that would be the choice. We picked Blastoise here because this is the starter that I haven't done any sort of a run with. I've had Venusaur as a mainstay for a while. I've used Charizard a lot in the past. The starter I have not given enough love to is Blastoise, who also has been working very, very well for us so far. Yep. Funny enough, I actually usually pick the Grass or Fire starter. Water is my least favorite picked starter type, but I'd say probably my favorite starter of all time would be Samurott. So it's just the one generation I'm like, I absolutely need the water starter more than anything else. And probably ended up being my favorite overall. In more recent competitive generations, isn't Hisuian Samurott, like, actually really good? Like, just specifically for having a good signature move that sets up rocks while attacking, something like that? I like it when less popular starters do get a huge glow up. Says Kahila, so it spikes, okay. Okay, given the that sounds like a, oh, this is a middle of underused tier kind of Pokemon. I think the biggest reason why I don't usually end up picking a water starter is, one, water is the most common type in Pokemon, unless that's changed in the past couple of generations. Gets used for that, but it's not particularly good, fair enough. I think we have an abundance of other water-type alternatives that also end up being strong, just because there ends up being a lot of them. Funny enough, I've been playing through a different ROM hack of Pokemon lately. Going through Emerald and realizing I'm kind of strapped for good Fire-type options. I picked Swampert there too, which, Hoenn starters, by the way. Every single one of them is an absolute banger. Yeah, we're running out of Thunderbolts. I think in general we're going to be running out of super effective against water attacks. Seafoam is a quiet getaway. I'm vacationing here. But there seem to be plenty enough grass and water types just in any of the regions that I like enough that I usually try to fill in with a fire starter being the one I end up picking. Because for the longest time we didn't have very many good fire type alternatives. Like, I'll remember my first time through FireRed, my token surf Pokemon eventually ended up being Kabutops, and I appreciate Kabutops. I went through Ruby with Sharpedo, also a great mon. Now, granted, a lot of these are going to be from the perspective of someone playing just the regular game the first time. I know a lot of these might not be all that great in competitive situations. Litten is very, very high up on my list too. But of course, that would be just because I'm a cat person. Water, poison, normal, flying, and psychic are the top 5. Yep, lots and lots of them. From what I hear from Kahila here in the chat, for the speedrun of this game, it seems like Blastoise is the one you can get through the game the quickest with. Firestarters also have the niche of mandatory early forest area and kind of suffer against mandatory early rock-type gem. You're right, that was the trope in Gens 1, 3, and 4. Why did they keep starting us off with a rock-type gem? There's gotta be a different type that you can end up landing some better early game mons with. So if 50% is cat, is the other 50% the violence? What was it in... Oh, for the forest bug thing. Yeah. Goodness, it's been so long since I did Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I'll be real with y'all, I've had the Tohomon itch on the brain lately as well, to complement the Pokemon itch in general. Some people want to consider Whitney for a rock-type gem. You know, you are entirely right. I don't remember having that much trouble with Whitney. But of course it was also like, what, 15 years ago that no! Like, 16 or 17 years ago that I would have played through those. Let's see, let's put Scyther in front since Scyther definitely needs a few levels. Ups bug moves in a pinch, but we don't have any good bug moves on you. Scyther doesn't get any good bug moves this generation, does it? Strong trainers and water Pokemon are common sights in these parts. They say that Misty of the Cerulean Gym trains here. And yet all of her Pokemon are drastically underleveled for that challenge. I love floating with the fishes here among the waves. 50% cat, 50% human. Me too sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Fury Cutter or Hidden Power Bug. Oh, that's embarrassing. It's funny because Scyther ends up getting a massive glow up just one generation from now. And even then, given the significantly lower power level in Generation 3, I think Scyther still gets by all right. Like, isn't Scyther underused? I'll be honest with y'all, the big reason I'm picking Scyther here is just to have the better option with Scizor in the post-game. Same situation with Porygon. We're making that difficult upfront investment to have the payoff later. Underused, fair enough. I don't even know what our hidden power type is on Scyther here. Do I have the HPTM? We could do some problem solving here. No, we do not. Aerial Ace will do well enough. That other ROM hack I've been playing does backport a lot of mechanics from newer gens. So it does let you go through a Gen 3 game with Technician Scyther and Wing Attack, which is hilarious. Hidden powers from Meowth exclude... You mean like pickup shenanigans, or... What are you referring to? Spring weather is killing me. We ended up getting, what, a Brave Scyther, I think? Yeah, look at that. Brave nature. So regardless, we're going to have really, really high attack to work with anyway. As long as we're not hitting something for not very effective damage, I think we'll do just fine. Cool to find a Slowpoke. Let's go ahead and get this out there. Which also, Technician False Swipe just for utility. Great stuff, great stuff. That was my exact first reaction to Pikachu as well. I've always been an electric type aficionado. You might notice we don't have an electric type on our team, but that's because that slot is reserved for Zapdos in a couple of levels. And by a couple, I mean like 10. But yeah, I was delighted to see Pikachu, not necessarily out of it being a mascot, but out of it being a early electric type. And I think in basically every single team I've gone through every single game, I ended up picking an electric Pokemon to use. That's the type I never go without. Oh, you're kidding me. Well, it's a shame we don't have pickup to abuse in this run, Kahila. I wouldn't necessarily rely on Hidden Power either. I think once Scyther gets to evolve, we're just gonna rely on, like, Steel Wing most of the time. Is that... I feel like that's gonna end up being Scissor's best possible attack, right? It is always vacantly lost in thought, but no one knows what it is thinking about. It is good at fishing with its tail. Name suggestions are always taken, by the way. Assume that if we see a Pokemon that we haven't caught yet, I'm going to try to catch it. So if we encounter one and y'all have a great name in mind, let me know. I'm not going to worry about doing the Twitch redeems for that at this point, especially given that half of y'all are on YouTube anyway. Alolan Executor is an absolutely iconic design. It's funny that both it and Ampharos are dragon types, just out of a pun. Which I appreciate that Japanese devs are so happy to put puns in everything. Pokey ain't a bad idea. I'm gonna keep losing track of where I've been just because... Well, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and catch the Golbat as well. There's a lot of Mons I know I'm not training up, and while I do love Crobat, Crobat to me has always been a token... I'm going to train one of these after I've beaten the game kind of Mons. But now that I think about it, when we end up going back through Heart Gold or Soul Silver, it's probably going to be Soul Silver specifically. Wouldn't be a bad Mon to put on our team. Could be our Fly user just as well. Because Crobat's really good. It clamps down on its prey with needle-sharp fangs and drains over 10 ounces of blood in one gulp. Eventually, Leech Life becomes good enough. I forgot the whole set of details we have for the Sokoban puzzle here. What is a Mon? A miserable pile of moves. Howdy, Sleepy Slender. Welcome back. Oh, Kahila knows. Kahila's doing a bit. Kahila's one of our regulars here, actually. They've been watching streams for like, what, 3 years now? A miserable pile of exactly 4 moves. That is correct. I'm doing remarkably well, Slender. Aw, thank you for the follow on Twitch as well. Yeah, we are dual streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. That's part of the usual routine now. do believe I saw you on... Yeah, it would have been the previous Pokemon stream, right? Thank you for your time, Kahila. I hope I caught you within the stream delay. And good luck. Alright, we got a boulder... Should be one up here. I don't like hearing that pitch down cry. Let's get you a bit of medicine, Scyther. Only 2 hyper potions. Instead, I think we'll hand you the EXP share, which Executor has that, right? Yeah. See ya, cat. We're streaming the next 2 days on YouTube as well. I gotta make a thumbnail for Tomodachi. You get a few levels, Blocky. Okay, so we go up and around, and that's where we end up pushing in the boulder. I believe we end up finding stuff like Seal and Dugong further down as Surfmons, I believe, right? Very cute that we have the Sokoban puzzle. We never really see anything else outside of this game, right? I know that some of the post-game stuff in FireRed also has Sokoban puzzles. Well, we have some instances of Sokoban, but not like plug them into the holes over a multi-floor puzzle kind of deal. It's just like one room, and if you make a mistake, then you reset. Oh, there's the seal. Let's see if we can do this without a KO, just using the Psychic. Good enough for a try. Easy enough. Seal. Covered with light blue fur, its hide is thick and tough. It is active in bitter cold of -40 degrees Fahrenheit. I like that they had to translate all of the different numbers and stuff into Fahrenheit for English. For specifically the American versions. I wonder, do we have different translations for UK English and American English? Pokemon's been great so far, Slender. We finished up our Saffron stream last time, and now we're making our way to Cinnabar. Which we technically have already been to. In fact, I don't think you need to go through Seafoam Islands at all. If you fly all your way back to Pallet Town, you can still make it right back to Cinnabar. Which is really cool how open world they ended up making the first game. We're doing this just for the sake of completion, and for finding all the items that we got in here. No idea how much focus we'll put on catching, like, Moltres and Articuno. Absolutely, I will be putting in the time to catch Zapdos, because Zapdos is my all-time favorite Pokemon. And I need an electric type on my team. That is the rule I have every single time. So I gotta pick my electric type of choice. Okay. Yeah, this takes us further down. So at some point in the future, when we're around level 50-ish... Ah, can't escape. Fine, have it your way. There is plenty of Ice Beam to go around. Because apparently you can't shout at a normal type. Astonish being Ghost is weird. I suppose That's out of it being a move you'd expect a ghost type to use, but shrieking at someone out of nowhere isn't necessarily a ghostly experience. Danger, fast current. Yeah, I remember this bottom floor nonsense. That's right, we used the boulders to block off the fast current sections. Let's try to navigate everywhere we know we can go with just the ladders. Hopefully. We don't have any sections that we gotta go all the way back and then start falling down a whole bunch of holes for. I think we've done what we needed to do. Maybe we do go back up to the start. When I was a kid, I remember a lot of these puzzle dungeons taking a lot longer, but that would also be because I wouldn't be smart enough to remember how to solve them so well. I remember Rock Tunnel was like a week-long daunting challenge for me. But I think that's also because I never really got the time to just sit down and play it for the couple hours that would be needed to go through to the very end. I mean, what, I was 9 when I was playing the first game? Prospects are looking like right after we get out of Foam Islands, it should be time for our first break. Okay, now I think we just start falling through holes. Is it slowpoke up above and then we get all the seal and dugong further below? I don't think we've encountered a wild shelter yet, have we? No, it would be a sea Pokemon, right? Yeah. Yeah, we haven't run into them. Okay, looks like that would be fishing then, right? Since some of those spots are marked in cities. Well, if there's anything I know about a fast current, Slender, it's that a lot of that stuff ends up being a huge problem to go against. If you're ever caught in a water current, don't try to fight against it. It does not tire. A water current will not stop pushing against you. Really, ProChat's gonna tell me when someone gets banned off of Twitch, but then it's not gonna remove their username after it gets banned. Give me a second. Guess I need to find a different provider for this kind of stuff then. Alright, put that on the list for a while. That seems like a design flaw, doesn't it? Weird usernames won't get censored out of the system. Because bot names are going to be just what the heck ever. Yeah, we've already been down here. We need to start falling down holes. Yeah, so it would be back up here. This would be where I'd need to grab a repel or two. Because I keep getting lost every time we run into a new Pokemon. Doesn't help that it's such an incredibly long animation to get into a battle. There's some other RPGs I appreciate for at least making that part of the process super quick. Bang, and then you're right into a battle. Alright, here we go. We'll find a better solution in the future, Storm. Luckily, we don't usually have enough of a bot problem that it ends up being a bother. But it's weird, look at that. The multi-chat system doesn't block out the name of people that have been banned. Worse yet, it just leaves the message up there for this person has been banned. Why didn't it... Nah, I can't remove it. I can't just delete that part of the chat. Maybe there's some settings to mess around with that here. Yeah, I don't know, it's odd. From what it looks like, that was just a bot, considering I didn't even get to see what they said before they got banned. So, I didn't hit the ban button. I assumed that was you, Storm. Which, thank you. You are always appreciated. I'm gonna guess it was another bot shilling watch channels, or watch viewer botting and such. Huh. Yeah, we haven't caught Golduck yet. This might end up KOing. Alright, let's not do that next time. Let's just try regular strength. Yeah, the bot catcher usually does pretty well. Okay, yeah, that was our way through. Are you on vacation too? Okay, a little bit quicker than I anticipated, so we'll take our first break probably once we get to Cinnabar. It shouldn't be that hard, Mel. I gotta put a little bit more into figuring out some specific block lists. Like a while back I did block just specifically the name of a lot of the viewer botting websites that pop up, and that was great, but of course there's gonna be new bots popping up with, ooh, here's how you get free 20 viewers or whatever, blah 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 blah. Also, thank you for the redeem, Storm. I didn't see those a moment ago. Take a sip. Take a stretch. Take a posture check. And you, Storm, you're gonna have to take this command grab. And by that I mean a hug. I hope you're having a great evening, Storm. I am looking forward to hopefully having a chance to deadlock soon, but I have been super sleepy lately. It is currently day 4 out of 6 in a row of work, and I am trying to take things as easily as possible. I guess Nitori can take us here for the home stretch. Except I think I see an electrician on that island right there. Though to be fair, I don't think we've had Executor doing too many of these fights. Yeah, you're a highest level Pokemon just because you were holding on to the EXP share for so long. Or this could be a bird catcher guy. Blocky kind of can tank just about anything out there. Okay, he is a bird guy. True, resting is your job. Let's start off with a recover. Yeah, we're gonna need it. Excuse you, good sir. Do that again. Funny that Pursuit being a dark type move is still special attack this generation. Oh man, we needed the physical special split so much. There's so many ROM hacks I've seen of Gen 3 games which will backport the physical special split. I do consider it that important, personally. We got so many new moves in Generation 4 which filled in gaps that we really had left open. Didn't really have any super hard-hitting bug-type attacks. We needed more readily accessible poison attacks that aren't Sludge Bomb. We got close combat, which is huge. Basically any Pokemon that can run close combat does. Which otherwise we have, like, Dynamic Punch and Superpower, which have really, really limited distribution. Are there any fighting types that even learn Superpower this gen? I think you can tutor them a lot of it by the time Emerald rolled around. I think that might be it, though. I'm gonna look that one up. Almost out of Thunderbolts. Really? Nidoqueen gets to learn it. Okay, Nidoqueen and the Regis in Generation 3. In Generation 3, it's the Regis and Nidoqueen. And Deoxys, but event legendaries don't really count. Thank you for the lurk, Slender. You get to play Magic the Gathering whenever people hop in on the call. It sounds like a fun time, Storm. I've kind of left card games behind, personally. I got burned by Hearthstone, which isn't necessarily the best card game for me to be playing. Is there an... like, I like card battling games mechanically, but I don't like the whole culture around buying cards to fit out decks and stuff like that. Which, yeah, all that stuff's great in person. I absolutely agree with that. But I'm a Battletech player. I like the idea of tabletop gaming being able to use standees and stuff like that. Things that would represent other tokens. Not necessarily cases like card games where it's implied that you have to have the card to be doing stuff with them. Welcome, Justin. What I'm wondering is there any sort of fan-made Magic the Gathering battling game or whatever that you don't really have to worry about getting all the cards that you need for a deck? Yeah, in a digital format. Free digital format is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, is there any prominent community like that? Because I know I have loads and loads of friends who are into Magic. Yeah, Executor hasn't used a single Giga Drain on this route. Let's fix that. I swam here from Cinnabar Island. It wasn't easy, I tell you. Tabletop Simulator has Magic the Gathering support. Noted. But are there any, like, wider communities about it? I'm hesitant to get into a game that would functionally require me to set up the equivalent of the effort needed to play Discord fighters. I mean, yeah, if you're playing Magic the Gathering versus like friends and stuff like that, everyone's gonna be consistent with the rules. Like, that's genuine. But Magic through Tabletop Sim does sound like a Discord fighter situation. I'm doing wonderfully this evening, Justin. We have just made our way out of Seafoam, and we're getting into Cinnabar here. Should be able to get through the Pokemon Mansion and the gym tonight, probably. It seems like every one of these little dungeons takes about an hour to get through. You are not yet a fighting type. Pretty big Discord for Commander, though. All right, all right. Significant community around what equates to a Discord game. I mean, most communities I've been in now will have about a 1% jerk rate. You know, it's whenever you get to a community that has a 5% jerk rate that you suddenly have a problem. Scientists conduct experiments in the burned-out building. You know, the one they call the Pokemon Mansion. Which will be our next journey to venture into, I believe. Yep. Cinnabar's Jim's Blaine is quite the odd fellow. He's lived on the island since way before the lab was built. Here's my question, though. We have the mansion, which implicitly is like burned out. Yeah, it's dilapidated. There are not supposed to be people living here. We have 0 actual houses on here. Does everyone just sleep in the lab? Like, do we even have beds in here? Got a PC, that's nice. They sleep on the ground. You know, honestly, it's probably a lot better air quality out here. An amber pipe, how cute. They got couches inside this building. That's enough for 2 people to sleep on. Honestly, just living on a little island out here and camping out every night does sound like a dream. Away from all that hustle and bustle of urban life. I came to visit the Cinnabar gym, but the door is locked tight. There should be a key for it somewhere. Could it be in that burned-out mansion? The gym leader's friend used to live there, they say. So that's our hint. Advertisements for going to the Union Room, which will not be relevant to this stream. Okay, we did end up getting Aerodactyl. Oh, jolly nature. If we ever wanted to come back and do this, and train any of our other mons, Aerodactyl would be an excellent choice. Yeah, we had Ampere as one of our token mons from a lot earlier in this game. Our party has shifted around quite a bit. Once we got to Fuchsia, we picked up Scyther and Dragonair. And heck, we got Porygon. Like, we've got a really cool team here. One of you, probably Machamp, ends up getting replaced with Zapdos later. Raichu is an excellent choice. Only reason I'm not currently using Raichu is, one, the aforementioned Zapdos, of course. And two, I've already gone through both this, and I believe, you can get Pikachu in the Safari Zone in Ruby version, right? Hold on, let me look that up. Because I go through every single game... There we go, Ruby Sapphire Pokédex. I go through every single game with an electric type on my team. Yep, they're in the Safari Zone in Ruby, so I do remember distinctly having a Raichu in Ruby and Sapphire as well. We're specifically not using Raichu because every other time where Raichu has shown up, or a Pikachu, I've pretty much always picked them up, and we're trying to shake things up with every new playthrough. Alright, we're heading on our first break. We'll be back in just a moment. If any of y'all need to get up, stretch, grab a snack, please do so. We'll be back in about 3 minutes or so. Sneaking our little way back in. Alright. Everyone's prepped, everyone's healed. We can have the Executor to lead off. Let's give everyone else some chances. Executor when we need to catch something. Which I believe this is where we find Ditto, but I feel like we already found a Ditto previously. Wait, I think we can find a Meowth in here, right? And why not? Funny how the Pokemon here are so much higher level than anything we've had in the previous couple of routes. Like, finally, now that we've handled all the other content, we're back up to par. I don't think we really need to be worrying about catching Pokemon at this point, do we? I mean, we're doing it out of a force of habit, and I do feel that urge in Generation 1 more than any other one. Its rear feet have 3 toes each. They're webbed, enabling it to swim across rivers. Raticate can learn Surf, right? I feel like that's one of those HM buddies that just gets to Surf. Just for the joy of the game. If we are going to have normal types galore in here, which I know we will, I think you know who needs to take point. What? You startled me! I thought you were a ghost. This ain't Lavender Town, buddy. There's no ghosts here, and that's why I'm using a fighting type. Dig until we eventually get access to Earthquake more reliably. Gotcha. Attack drop yet again from even more Intimidate. And we still probably get the one-hit KO here. I mean, yeah, we're fighting Ekans of all things. Yeah, not bad. Also, what's a youngster doing out here with all these snakes? Alone in a mansion? Where are your parents, buddy? Where are your parents? I never understood the animation for revenge in this game. Like, it's got those effects, I assume, for getting a swing at your opponent. The animation kind of makes sense in a lot more future generations. Where your character just angrily steams for a moment before slamming into the enemy. Let's not... Yeah, I don't think we need to be spamming revenge against everything we fight. A great move. But we only have 10 uses of it. Now 8. A secret switch. Oh. Who wouldn't press it? I was going to talk to that for a bit of the lore foreshadowing we have with Mewtwo. I forgot those were actually necessary to the puzzles to solve here. Well, maybe there's the reason for us to be using revenge every time we can. Get rid of these rats! Kabam! Huh. I don't even remember where we found a Vulpix previously. Would be a great mon to use in a future run. Huh, we've never grabbed a Grimer either, noted. I did not expect that to KO. I think Marissa's attack stat is the highest we have out of any offensive stat on the team, right? 135. Scyther and Executor barely break 100. We have our hard hitter, I suppose. I've never used Machamp in a regular run either. I suppose next time we go through Gen 4... Well, if we have another run through Platinum, because we have already played Platinum. And while Platinum exists, I have no intention to go back to Diamond or Pearl. I'm just wondering where we have a good opportunity to exploit No Guard Machamp, because No Guard isn't an ability in this generation. It's only from Gen 4 onward. Alright, fine. Have it your way, Raticate. We'll just fight every single one of them we come across. It's good experience. Since we have to go back near the exit anyway, we're already here. Let's head back to the Pokemon Center. It's a lot easier to get the extra PP back as well. No Guard's really good, not just for Dynamic Punch on Machamp, but also Stone Edge being an incredible coverage move. Which appreciates the no accuracy penalty once you have the... Oh, let's try Rock Tomb. Live? Okay, just barely. Good. Stone Edge being pretty necessary on just about every fighting type Pokemon that can learn it. You get rid of bug types that way, flying types, both of those resist fighting. Sludge exposed to X-rays from the moon, transformed into Grimer. It loves feeding on filthy things. It's an almost cute design. Almost. You know, Growlithe is one of my all-time favorites. Growlithe and Arcanine. I was talking about being a little short on good fire types to use. If it wasn't for us trying to fixate so hard on the very unique picks of early mid-game Porygon and Dratini, we'd probably have an Arcanine on the team. Despite it being one of my all-time favorites, I don't think I've ever... Yeah. I don't think I've ever gone through a regular Pokemon run with it. I suppose this is our quote-unquote definitive FireRed run. But it's funny that it's not using a number of my prior favorites. Maybe we have an excuse to do that later. One ROM hack I've been playing lately integrates both FireRed and Emerald together. There's also another project that's currently being worked on which is intended to do that a lot more cleanly. I thought development had stopped on that ROM hack, but it turns out it just got an update earlier this week, so that's very good news. I love Gen 3 a lot, and we haven't had a formal Emerald stream. We do have one scheduled to get back to, but that would be a slightly different experience. A very, very different experience. Let's not get around it. Folks like the Pokemon streams. I can't get out. This old place is one big puzzle, said the guy standing right next to the stairwell going to the first floor. Oh. I don't remember this being a trainer type. Did you perhaps burgle that Charmander? Yeah, no, I've been thinking it wouldn't be a bad idea to be doing Pokemon stuff a lot more regularly. One thing I want to ask y'all, and just the Discord in general and a lot of friends, do we want to focus more on fewer streams at a time so that we can focus on getting through games a lot more quickly while they're topical? Versus if y'all like the format we've been doing where it's mostly just one day a week designated for a specific type of stream. Oh no, my bag of loot! The switches here open and close alternating sets of doors. Does that trainer type only show up here, in this area? Also, what's going on here? Are these supposed to be internal or external balconies? July 10th. We christened the newly discovered Pokemon, Mew. Yeah, we have the entire record of the Pokemon Mew in here. Hot take? I really like the super ancient design of Mew, where it's honestly kind of ugly. It's supposed to resemble a generic mammal fetus, because if you've looked at a lot of fetuses in very, very early development, across a lot of different vertebrate, or across a lot of different mammals, they start off looking pretty similar to each other. And I think having that oddball design definitely fits for a Pokemon that's supposed to be the Pokemon ancestor. July 5th. Guanya, South America. A new Pokemon was discovered deep in the jungle. Reading that out of order, but that is the one that leads into Mew. Calcium is good. I don't know if we have anyone who could use that right now. Oh, hey! Good on ya, Blocky. I'm surprised y'all aren't fully EV trained yet. In spite of how often we've been using everyone on the team. Protein obviously goes to Marissa. Girl's gotta have her protein shake. Wait, no one's holding the lucky egg? That explains a lot. If it's an item we can't use, why is used first option we have? Don't we solve that problem in future games? Yeah, 137, 2 points higher. For most of the items, we just have the give option if that's the only thing you can do with it. We already know every Raticate's gonna be looking for a fight. We've tried running previously, and it didn't turn out so well. Welcome to your 40s, Marissa. Yeah, we'll keep her on point. Ah, this is what we're looking for. Large door over here, we gotta toggle one more statue and then get our way through there. And... turned a little bit too early. Made a left turn at Albuquerque. Can we activate these from the nope, not from the side. Gotta push the big shiny button. One of the reasons I like Arcanine as a Pokemon is because of its set diversity. That's a huge reason I appreciate Zapdos as well. You can run it offensively or defensively, your choice. My mentor once lived here. I remember a long time ago, Marky made an edit of that sprite to Xanderify it, so to speak. It was super cute. I'll always appreciate that, Marky. You know, we have editor tools for a lot of these kinds of games. Here's an idea for y'all. I don't know what context I'd use it in, but as someone who has game dev experience and a lot, and I mean a lot, of experience with modding games, no idea where we'd put it, but maybe a slight tweak to an existing ROM hack to either implement a Xander character sprite or trainer sprite or something to just throw in there. I think that would be a charming addition to the stream. I haven't had too much experience with looking around for ROM hacks up until, what, like a month ago? When we were starting this. And it turns out there are a huge number of dev tools out there to help along the process. So it's not an idea that I've had before now, but now I'm getting the idea of just replace the player trainer sprite. Alright, check over here. I distinctly have a very old memory of running into an Electrode on Cinnabar. I think it's just the trade, but I'm activating this item very cautiously. Okay, that is not in fact an Electrode in disguise. Got it. Girl could use some iron, too. It's kind of funny that despite the offensively leaning stats, I think people use Arcanine nowadays, at least the non-Hisuian form, mostly for defensive sets. Like Intimidate, Morning Sun kind of stuff. Okay, this was the area we came up. I think we gotta go through those gaps down below. Welcome, Pika Card. Lots of folks popping in on YouTube today. That's unusual. But how are you doing? Whoosh. Okay, we are making progress. Check it out. Who are you? There shouldn't be anyone here. And anyone includes you, buddy. Also, how did you get here? Did you fall with that beaker in hand? Also, this might be the Electrode I distinctly remember running into. Don't paralyze, don't paralyze, don't paralyze, don't paralyze. I'll take it. Unfortunately, that means we missed that because of the levitate, yeah? Wait, what? Okay, the swap happened in between the turns. Yeah, since we were underground, that was where that turn ended, and then we attacked with Dig at the start of the next one. You're up, Blocky. Do what you do best. Use attacks that aren't of your type. Which is funny, that's what a lot of people end up doing with Porygon and Porygon 2. They'll give them, like, Bolt Beam and stuff like that to use. And then later you get adaptability, the inverse idea, for Porygon Z specifically. Yeah, I saw the HP up and I'm like, I gotta use that. Mostly so we can clear out all the limited inventory space we have this gen. We're gonna use the Revive, but I don't think we need to use a Hyper Potion here. Mersa, I think you've had your lovely chance to shine. Let's give Nitori a couple more levels since I know they're going to be the big slugger once it comes up to the Fire Gym in just a little bit. Also, we got plenty of surfs to spend. Might as well. Blastoise is such a cool Pokemon. I remember for the longest time it was my mom's favorite Pokemon of all things. My mom's real sweet. She looks to be interested in things that her kids are doing. Really? Okay, I guess Scyther already has enough speed effort values. I'm surprised we aren't maxed out on Nitori yet. Our starter hasn't even gotten all of the possible effort values. What? Hold on, what? What? Okay, I didn't know about that. That doesn't make sense. I was curious about the door there, and I guess, yeah, the doormat indicates an exit, but why does that slip to a completely different spot? That, oh my goodness. Fair enough, we could have used the heal anyway. Let's buy some more healing items while we're here. Hyper Potions are still going to be relevant for a while, even up to the Elite Four. I don't think anyone we have... Yeah, no one's gotten even close to 200 HP. Yeah, we haven't hopped up here yet. Mew gave birth. We named the newborn Mewtwo. Which ended up being overwritten canon later, I believe, right? Well, here is an excellent opportunity to be using Blastoise. Beautiful, beautiful. Right. Ninetales has an incredibly high special defense. It's like 110, I think. Or might even be higher. Trying to find it in Pokédex. I do not remember the number. We don't have any super effective attacks here, but I think even something like Return might end up getting a one-hit KO. Not quite. Almost. Blastoise learns Bite, but doesn't learn Crunch. Yeah, we're gonna have to toggle this, go back up, fall down the floor. Well, we haven't caught a Weezing yet. You have a high defense stat. A very high defense stat, but if you're gonna self-destruct, I suppose it doesn't matter ultimately. Let's, put you in reserve for the time being. Sidewinder, you're up. You and your excellent type coverage. Cleanse Tag isn't a bad item to be holding either. Yeah, then we toggle this one. Then we fall. Wait, I think we fall into the hole on the right. I think they take us to slightly different areas. It's funny how Dragonite, a Pokemon renowned so much for just its high stats, also just kind of ends up being a really good HM buddy. Giving me phenomenal cosmic power in a teeny tiny package type energy. All these incredibly high stats, and then you'd use them for like Surf and Fly. Though I think you can make something out of like a Surf, Thunder, Hurricane kind of Rain Dragonite. I feel like that's a set that exists. Rain Team Dragonite. Dragons also special attack this gen, which is weird. Really? That much damage? We're gonna risk one more attack here. One step more on Dex completion. Here we go. We also need to take note of who's holding the amulet coin. Alright, now we swap to... Who has our highest defenses? Huh. Blastoise. Executor also ain't doing that bad either. We do need someone to put you to sleep, so let's do that. And get a sleep powder. And miss. Do it again. And Ultra Ball, since it was a little bit more difficult the first time. This should be good. Very rarely, a sudden mutation can result in two small coughing twins becoming conjoined as wheezing. supposedly rare occurrence, although that happens to every single one of them that levels up enough. When did we get an ice heal? We don't need that. Yeah, I was wondering if we picked up a full restore anywhere, just because that's a little bit more convenient. This is a crazy Pokopia reskin. Howdy, Jay! How you doing? No word on Pokopia yet. However, excellent news, Jay. A couple of days ago, I did grab Tomodachi. It's gonna be a hot minute before I know if I'm gonna be doing, Pokopia. The promise I made to myself. I did just have an interview for for a new position at work. If I get accepted for that, I'm gonna have a significantly bigger paycheck. Not like huge, but it'll come out to maybe 100 or 200 extra a month. If that ends up happening, then I'm grabbing Pokopia. How you doing, Jay? Wow, maybe we do need Marissa on point. Just get rid of these rats of unusually high level. Rats of unusual size, you could call them. Make Jay and Tomodachi. I've got something for you, Jay. Check your pings, or really... You know what, rather than like ping you in my server, I'm just gonna forward that to you. Rats of unusually high level. Thank you, Jay. I'm glad you're picking up what I was putting down. Alright, I just DM'd you a template sheet I've been sending to a number of friends. If you fill that out, it will help me a lot more. Not Pokopia. Tomodachi is going to be our stream on Wednesday evening. Granted, that one's also supposed to last later into the evening, so if you are streaming on that night as well, I should still be able to see you. Either prior to or after your stream. And thank you for the good luck. Really hoping I get it. Alright, lucky egg on our rat destroyer. Scyther's leveled up enough. Let's give one to Nitori here. Thank you, Jay. I already have a good mental image of how you look, how handsome I should make your me. But for whatever other little traits on there that you do have a better way to signify, let me know. I'm going to be making a lot of my friends, and maybe I should get a disclaimer or ask some folks on whether or not to stop any of y'all from just dating other random me's on the island. That's what's been happening to all my friends playing. I asked my roommate to add me into his game, and he did, of course. And so my roommate made himself on his island, of course. But he also made an evil version of himself, and I ended up falling in love with evil Primey on his island. And in case there's any weird shenanigans that happen with my friends not wanting to necessarily fall in love with others, let me know. Diary, September 1st. Mewtwo is far too powerful. We have failed to curb its vicious tendencies. Uh-oh. Where am I now? In a significantly cleaner looking section of the mansion, it looks like. Got that. Interesting sprite for Machamp in this generation. In the next couple of games, isn't it actually facing away from you? Like, properly. We have more of a side view here. Chatting will be slow due to saucy fingies. I understand, Jay. No one ever has any obligation to chat. After all, like, I think 75% of my viewers are lurkers. That's just a random number pulled out of a hat. Wait, we don't have coughing yet either? Alright. Wait, we've caught wheezing, but we don't have coughing? Huh. Something for us to fix. For whenever we come across the next one. Growlithe is such a good boy. I need to find some context to play the newer games so I can use Hisui and Arcanine a lot more. Heck, we didn't even use Hisui and Arcanine. Wait, that's right. That's why. We didn't use Hisui and Arcanine in... Oh, look, a Ditto. We've already caught one, otherwise this would be a uniquely special incident. Kaizo, like Pokemon Kaizo? No. And frankly, I'm not all that interested in Kaizo games as a design scheme, though I suppose if my viewers do want to see me get frustrated at something, I'd be happy to put it on. It is something I'd be glad to do with viewer demand, but it never comes as an idea on its own to me. I don't really appreciate Kaizo games as a design philosophy, and I don't think I'm entertaining when I'm mad. I can be entertaining when I'm exasperated sometimes. And I know there's some people who love to specifically watch, like, raid streamers and such. I don't think that works for me. And it can... No. Delete a move, no. Stop learning submission, yes. I think if folks are really wanting Kaizo, yeah, I could do that. Ironmon seems more maddening than standard Kaizo, but yeah, you also hate being an angry streamer. I like games that are super, super difficult. Okay, funny enough, it is kind of a topic since I ended up watching a video essay on it the other day. Are any of y'all familiar with Fear and Hunger? I am absolutely on board for the I love egregiously difficult games. Even games that are designed to be player character apathetic. A good example being Noida. Noida is an incredibly difficult game that does not care about the player and does not try to beat around the bush, and the fact that it really enables the player character to just die off of random happenstance that you had no way to foresee, you had no way to control. It will just randomly kill you because it feels like it. I can appreciate those kinds of games, especially when they're like immersive sims or have very expansive mechanics that make the game super creative and flexible mechanically. It is usually undetectable because it blends in with the ground. Touching it can cause terrible poisoning. Depends on the quality of the nickname, Jordan. But that is entirely welcome if it sounds like something appropriate to give to a Pokemon. But yeah, there's been a few times in the past, especially when playing, like, Guilty Gear Strive, when... I remember, back when Guilty Gear Strive very, very first released, it had very frequent connection issues when I was trying to play, and that got me mad on stream, and I hated that experience. It is not fun. But I've been watching a few videos on Fear and Hunger and Fear and Hunger 2 lately. As much as I appreciate a game that functionally serves as a dark and difficult RPG with a lot of creative, immersive sim elements, I don't think I'm ever going to play Fear and Hunger of my own accord just because it is a game that also does not respect your time, and it just ends up being an egregiously difficult slog. I know for sure I would be delighted to finally beat that game. I've never started playing it in the first place, but I know it's going to be a game that I'd need to take like 50 hours to be able to beat. For a game that ends up eventually being only a few hours once you finally beat it, it's just a game that's unfair and unforgiving the entire time you're playing it. Sarah Platt. Isn't that a voice actor? No, am I thinking of Tara Platt? I'm not going to be picking names after... There are a few guidelines for Pokemon names. Oh, Blizzard. That's where Blizzard is. I'm not going to pick a name that sounds like a real person's name. That will be outside the rules. Oh, come on! Sorry, Jordan. I don't think I'm going to be trusting that. There we go. There's our key to get out of here. I'll accept cute Pokemon nicknames. Like, we have a few named after certain other video game characters. We still need to pick one for Scyther and Executor. But I'm not going to be naming a Pokemon Sarah. Brilliant, that's where Solar Beam is. Kasumi is cute, I'll take that. Do you have any suggestions? We've been, catching mostly everything we come across. Normally I'd never buy an escape rope, but we find a few of them on the ground. I think we're guaranteed to find one of them in basically every weird long dungeon. We've had a Mankey for a while. I think our Mankey is already nicknamed. Yeah, we've already had Mankey nicknamed a while ago, but most of the other mons around here are not nicknamed. If there's any of them you see that you like. It's just these two boxes, basically. Yeah, and then we'll have a muck over here. We do not have access to a wild Charmander. Shigeo or Kageyama after everyone's favorite psychic, Mob from Mob Psycho. I will be glad to take a suggestion from you, Jay. Okay, reading back in the chat for Jay. You like a specific kind of very challenging combat with non-punishing runbacks. Yeah, like the kind of game you can just smack your face against the wall over and over again, right? Blocky, you're already nicknamed, we'll put you in reserve. Kasumi I can do for Muck, definitely. Scyther... we'll do something else. Yeah, not gonna need you for the moment, need 30. Something that hasn't been suggested in a while, but something I don't think I plan on doing in the future. When we went through Black 2... we had a lot of mons nicknamed after viewers, and I'm not too sure about doing that again. Right, it's this house. It's the one with the sign next to it. No, it is not. That's Fuji's house. It's this one. Kasumi the Muck? I'll take that. Weird how all the Pokemon names are capitalized. But they let you do lowercase frequently enough. But yeah, anyone that hasn't been nicknamed yet, it's just all caps, and then I think they did away with that in Generation 5, right? Wishbone's cute. Of course, I will also be serving as a name raider for any of the names that I end up handing out. Kageyama is cute for an executor. I like that. I kind of want a nickname for Scyther that serves well pre and post evolution, just like that. Wishbone sounds like a cute name for a Cubone. I think we've grabbed a Cubone or a Marowak somewhere. Could have sworn we did. If not, I think we can go right back into Pokemon Tower and grab one. No, it's Sandshrew. Yeah. Cubone is a mountain Pokemon. Right? Huh. Well, let's go grab a Cubone then. I thought we caught one. I'm sure we encountered one before. Get Best Kappa back in the team. And yeah. Let's do this, and then should be about time for the second break right afterwards. Never heard of the show Wishbone. Tell me about it. Yeah, we should be able to just run in circles around here. Let's do Scyther on point for false swipe shenanigans. Really? Nothing? Okay, there we go. I was wondering why we hadn't run into anyone yet. Cubone should be... I remember we only ran into like one previously. I think we were trying to catch it. Ended up accidentally getting a KO on it, if I remember correctly. Where is it in the dex? There you go. 104. Oh, but is it going to show me... Okay, so it's in Pokemon Tower and also in Sea Vault Canyon. There we go. Do we have encounter tables here? I see trainers. Okay, wild Pokemon. Yeah, Cubone's a 9% encounter rate, so that's going to be a little bit rare. It'll be a moment. Was about a dog and it told the stories of books with Wishbone in it wearing cute outfits. Almost sounds like a, that sounds like that might have been a children's show that I would have barely seen a little bit when I was super little. Oh, well, never mind. Turns out it will not take too long to find a Cubone. Yep, just about time for a break, as I am just now running out of tea. Welcome to the Dex, Cubone. It wears this... Yeah, unfortunately, Cubone has very, very sad entries. Wears the skull of its dead mother on its head. When it becomes lonesome, it is said to cry loudly. Well, let's grant you a bit of an optimistic name. We'll save on the escape ropes. After all, we don't have any encounters here or on floor 1. Yeah. We are free to go. No idea for Scyther's name yet. Cries loudly when it becomes lonely. Yeah, that's absolutely a huge mood, Jay. Alright, y'all. We are right about to challenge the gym, but before we do that, it is due time for our next break, so we'll take another little 5-minute, 3-minute interim. Who am I missing? Yeah, Blocky. Blocky's who I'm missing. You know what we should do? Maybe we should rush getting Sidewinder to level 45, where she evolves into a Dragonite. At that point, we can rest. Not rest. I said rest because I read rest as a mood. At that point, we can fly with Sidewinder. Alright. We'll be hopping into the gym in just a moment. We did heal everyone, right? We didn't grab Blocky. Alright. We'll do that, and we'll be right back after a break. I like Cinnabar Island's theme. I remember hearing it a lot in the Sevi Islands. Which... we should be getting the point to do that soon, right? I think we end up doing that before we challenge the 8th gem. We'll figure that out in a moment. Alright, y'all. We're hopping on break and we'll be right back momentarily. we are slipping our way back in. Welcome back, y'all. Hope y'all had a great break. Maybe inspiration for Scyther's name shall strike. Probably in the post-game after an evolution. Yo, champ in the making. The hot-headed Blaine is a fire Pokemon pro. Douse his spirits with water. You'd better take some burn heals, too. Don't think any of this is going to be an issue. No longer do we need the EXP share. Which of you had the lucky egg? Still Machamp. Sidewinder is most behind in level, so you get the EXP share for now. And Lucky Egg goes to our champ, the one who will be carrying us through this entire challenge. Actually, hold on. Think about it. I just talked about how we'd want to give as much experience to Sidewinder as possible so that we can expedite the Dragonites. Our Dragonician expedition, if you will. I was a thief, but I went straight as a trainer. We still get to use super effective water attacks with the fact that we have Surf on Dragonair. And we still resist fire. So yeah, just like that, we should be able to still very reliably clean house. Why does this guy employ burglars? What's going on, Blaine? Also, I forget, do we get to skip the trainer battles if we do quiz? I think quizzes was the gimmick here. I was hoping that would have a little bit more damage. Wonder where we end up getting the Dragon Claw TM. Ah, fair enough. Pokemon quiz. Get it right and the door opens to the next room. Get it wrong and face a trainer. Yes, Caterpie evolves into Metapod. Why don't we do the quizzes for their gimmick, but we don't have to do anything else about it? There are 9 certified League Pokemon badges. Let's answer incorrectly. Ah, he walks over by cutscene. Okay. I was wondering how they were going to implement that. Yeah, because I think every single quiz here is super easy to get through. We'll try to do double Thunderbolts on a few of them, just to conserve a few serves. We probably get through most of, if not everything in the gym up to the gym leader, with only one trip. But yeah, we will go back to heal right before the gym leader himself. Intimidate means nothing to us. After all this time, we still don't have a special type Intimidate, do we? It's funny that there's still so many gaps in Pokemon design. After more than 1,000, there's still some type combinations that haven't been used. Some of which you think would be easy to design for, like, we don't have a ground fairy yet, which one would be an incredibly scary type combination since that beats a lot of things. But a ground fairy being like some sort of a stand-in for a garden gnome or something like that would be great. I wonder if a fire-type attack would end up doing more damage than quick attack. Even not very effective, just using a weak normal attack on a mon that doesn't have very good high physical attack probably doesn't mean much. I'm wondering because we have that weird situation of like Gen 1 gym leaders trying to only use super effective attacks. And then we have the infamous spamming agility on Venomoth kind of meme. Sure, it's a psychic type move, but it's not super effective. Because it doesn't deal damage. And there's some situations where doing a not very effective attack might be your most responsible option. While we are a little low on health, let's do that preemptively. There we go. Thank you, Shed Skin. If only Eviolite was in this generation, that would be really, really cool on Dragonair. Too hot to handle, he says. What does the quiz even say here? Pokemon quiz. I'm not gonna read that dialogue every single time. Poliwag does not evolve 3 times. That was the only question I got wrong when I was a kid, because I remember being so upset and stumped over the question. See, I read that and thought, Poliwag has 3 evolutions, right? Which, yes, it does, but it does not evolve 3 times. To this date, we don't have any Pokemon that evolve 3 times, do we? Funny how there's a lot of questions in the quizzes here that are very obviously 1 number off of being right. Like, they're being wrong in the most obtuse way possible. Ow, he says. I'm gonna take a silly little risk and see if we can heal at the beginning of our next fight. Electric moves are not effective against ground types. I've been to many gyms, but this one best suits my style. Isn't that another burglar? Why do you employ these guys, Blaine? Alright, let's hope we don't get quick attacked. Yeah, there we go. Full heal, and we didn't even need to use an item. I mean, if Surf hits, that's not really going to be a problem, is it? I don't think I've ever seen Gen 3 Grudge used before. I'm surprised the move's been around this long. I remember one of my friends back when I was in elementary school tried really hard to convince me that Grudge was supposed to be a one-hit KO move. Which a ghost-type one-hit KO seems like a really, really cool idea. I think he misremembered by knowing it was something to do with KO mechanics. Also, guess who has decided to visit us? Welcome aboard, Scrunko. Favorite little desk cat? One more passage before the gym lead. I think we can do this. Fire's weak against H2O. Yeah, we can probably still do this with just a bunch of Thunderbolts. We should have enough for the whole team. And if anyone gets on really low health, we can still Ice Beam them. Ah, not quite. Oh, maybe that is just enough. Not quite twice. Double Thunderbolt. We'll take our way back to the Pokemon Center. And then it's time to fight Blaine himself. Is that little Ghost Wisp effect used for any other move? It's cool. It's cool, but also kind of sad that there's a lot of really, really good pixel art that only ends up being used for one attack here and there. And I'd like that everyone has something fire-related to say. Tombstoney. Yes, that is absolutely a real move. Alright, Blaine, we'll see you in just a moment. We don't usually hear that specific sound font MIDI trumpet used much outside of the Hoenn soundtrack, do we? Also, isn't that the exact same track, the one that's used for every gym? Isn't that the exact same in both FireRed, well, FireRed Leaf Green, and Ruby Sapphire Emerald? With all the emphasis on drums, this does feel like a Kanto track. But yeah, the horns are very, very Hoenn. Look at that, 81 on the Pokédex. Yeah, I think that puts us way past any threshold we need to worry about. Yeah, quizzes that don't mean anything. Aw, look at that. It's a photo of Blaine and Mr. Fuji. They're standing shoulder to shoulder with big grins. Ha! I am Blaine, the red-hot leader of Cinnabar Gym. My fiery Pokemon are all rough and ready with intense heat. They incinerate all challengers. Ha! You better have Burn Heal. Or, you know, Shed Skin Abuse. Shed Skin Rest Abuse. A little under level. This should be fun. Granted, he's gonna pull out like an Arcanine, right? Arcanine is like his signature Pokemon. I think that's gonna be the only one we have to really worry about. Everything else should just go down in a single serve. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, the heal comes out, but we'll use Ice Beam to get that little bit of buffer on health. Since we're just barely not able to score the one shot. Scrunko, you should stop clawing the keyboard. I need that. That's gonna hurt. What did you do? Cat, what did you do? Did you pause it? Okay. Yeah, he keeps rolling over the keyboard. I might have to drag him away. Unfortunately, it's become his favorite spot to rest, is literally on the keyboard. I'm happy to let him sit up on the desk, but he just decides he's gonna roll over and start mashing random keys on my keyboard when he does that. There we go. 47. Well, if you get to cheat with items, so do I. Because I feel like an extreme speed would be coming. Not quite. See if this gets a little bit of the RNG damage necessary. Not quite. He's gonna heal, and so will I. Perfect. Okay, looks like we can't high roll for damage to get just over that 50% we're looking for. If we can stall out the Fire Blast uses... Oh, how's that just enough? We'll use the revive because we want Dragonair to inherit that experience. Shame we don't have Aqua Jet to abuse. $47 though, that is a huge jump in level. Yeah, it did feel like a proper boss fight there. I have burned down to nothing. Not even ashes remain. You have earned the Volcano Badge. And quite a bit of dosh. Okay, Cat. Scrunko has just knocked things off of my desk again. He is forbidden. Thank you for your time, Scrunko. But you are unfortunately... Okay, he's being a goober. The Volcano Badge heightens the special stats of your Pokemon. Here, you can have this too. Fire Blast is the ultimate fire technique. Don't waste it on water Pokemon. Well, thank you, Blaine. Alright. Oh, wait. Hell, hey, if it isn't Xander. Okay, this was the point I was wondering about. Because I remember the Sevi Islands starting at some point in FireRed when they weren't in the original Red and Blue. I think this is part of it. Look, it's me, Bill. Long time no see. I hope you're still using my PC system. Well, listen, since we met up here, how about spending time with me? There's this little island in the far south called One Island. A friend invited me, so I'm on my way out there. How about it? Do you feel like coming with me? What if we said no? What, are you two busy? Well, alright, the boat hasn't arrived yet anyway. I'll be waiting at the Pokemon Center over there. Come see me when you're done with your business here. Really? I thought we would have been hit with the, but you must. Come on, we gotta go. I don't know if we get to go there directly from here or if we have to head by Vermilion first. Yeah, here's our little detour before the 8th gym. Hey, you kept me waiting. Ready to set sail to one island? Let's do it. Bum 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 bum. Looks like my pal's boat arrives too. He sent it specially here to Cinnabar to pick me up. Here we are. This is one island. There are several islands around here, and this is one of them. My friend Celio sent the boat to fetch me here. He's in charge of the island's PC network by his lonesome. Why am I telling you this now? Let's go just see Celio. Interesting that we get a pitched-up version of the Pokemon Center theme here. Hey there, Celio! Bill, I can't believe you came out here. Well, absolutely. How's your research coming along? Oh, wait a sec. Xander, this is my buddy Celio. He's one dedicated PC maniac. Celio, this is Xander, a rising contender as the Pokemon champ. That's really impressive. I hate to say it, but I have zero aptitude for battling. Anyway, I'm glad to meet you. So, bring me up to speed. How's your machine running? Hey, no worries at all, Kahila. No need to apologize either. We got through Seafoam Islands just fine. Pokemon Mansion took a while, but we did that. And then Blaine was certainly not much of a problem until the level 47 Arcanine, which our Dragonair had some trouble up against, but between Dragonair and Blastoise, we were still able to clear that gym. No sweat. It's running fine, but we're too remote out here. The PCs on this island just can't link with your PC, Bill? Oh yeah? Okay, let me take a look-see. Hang on here. I think we can make it work. Let me help you, okay? Xander, can I get you to wait for me just a bit? Actually, can I get you to do me a favor? The island next to this one's called 2 Island. There's a guy there that runs a game corner. He has this thing for rare rocks and gems. We keep in touch, being fellow maniacs. So, can I get you to deliver this meteorite to him? But thou must. Xander, if you're going to 2 Island, please take this. It's a pass for the ferry service, serving the local islands. It will let you travel between the islands 1, 2, and 3. Oh, you should have this too. I'll catch you later. Say hi to the guy for me. Usual PC services aren't available out here. Far too remote. I wish I could trade Pokemon with my boyfriend who lives far away. In the Hoenn region? On this island, there's an enormous volcano. It hasn't erupted lately, so why not enjoy a hike? Oh, you're a stranger here! Hi, where did you come from? Pallet Town? I don't know it. Real talk, I've always loved the Sevi Islands. Back before Wi-Fi was invented. On sunny days, I step out and gaze upon the volcano. That's my daily routine. Let me think. When was the last time Mount Ember erupted? Hopefully not in anyone's lifetime. It's not healthy to live near volcanoes that erupt often. Young people all want to go off to big cities, but I want to stay here forever. It's a pretty picture of a Pokemon. It looks like it's feeling good. Yeah, I like the very rural situation we had out here at the islands. I've always been kind of hoping that we'd have something like this make a comeback in future games. Oh, we do have a route down here. Yeah, we want to expedite Sidewinder leveling up. In fact, if we could get Dragonair to level 45... I take it you are not a Sevi Islands fan, Kahila? I know lots of people don't like him. You would be bored out of your mind. Oh, bored out of your mind in the rural situation. You do have a point, you do have a point. I feel like a situation with the Pokemon context would be pretty different. But I have grown up in a rural situation, and yes, it is incredibly boring out of mind. If Pokemon were a thing, though, I don't know that I'd be playing so many video games. I don't know that I'd require that much internet access. Almost. You are a city cryptid for a reason. Entirely sensible, entirely sensible. I could not imagine moving out into the middle of nowhere ever again. Okay, but if I didn't have to keep up with my current work schedule, or even if I was also, like, working night shift, I would absolutely be the go out at 2 AM to grab some juice. At my previous job, I mean, I'd have fairly normal hours during the week. It was a 9 to 5, essentially. But I did have some cryptid times on Fridays and Saturday nights where I'd go out at like 3 AM to this one taco place in the next city over. Good things good things, plural, get singular, washed up by the ocean current onto this beach. That's why I often come here for some beachcombing. We've got item finder shenanigans to abuse here, I believe, right? Did we even get the item? Where is the item finder? We never grabbed it. Yeah, so every few hundred steps you find some things out here. But yeah, I'd go grab tacos in the town, the next town over at like 3 AM or so. And in fact, in the future, when I do have cause to celebrate, I plan on going back again. Sitting indoors with Jolteon, that does sound super cute. I wonder if the sandy patches here are what we'd be looking for. Ah, you know, we've never caught one of these. I'll take either the experience or the Dex entry. We're not concerned about filling the Pokédex at this point, to be perfectly honest. I'm pretty sure the very clear difference, Kahila, would be the sentience that you exhibit, which Dittos do not. Maybe we don't need to be doing that. Its huge and magnificent wings keep it aloft in the sky. It can remain flying a whole day without landing. Fearo's got a menacing appearance, but I don't think it actually ends up being all that powerful of a mon, does it? The spin-offs imply otherwise, but they're spin-offs, Kahila. They're a very different situation. Are they canon to Pokemon as a whole? That's the question. Yeah, Drillpeck destroys some stuff. I know that because of my first experience being with Zapdos, trying to use my Venusaur to sleep powder it, because I'm like, oh yeah, I want this Mon. And then getting annihilated by Drillpeck over and over again. Heck, we specifically might want to still try leveling up a Magneton just for that fight. Okay, we came down here, we fought one trainer. I don't think we need to do anything on Treasure Beach. I wonder why they specifically pitched up the audio in this. I mean, yeah, obviously it's a unique Pokemon Center. But why just a pitched up version of the regular theme? Oh yeah, I'll switch my special defense Celebi into Zapdos. Oh wait, yeah, it is a flying type. I don't think before Drill Peck I even saw particularly intimidating flying type attacks. That always disappointed me, the super fast current around some of these islands. Is it really that hard to just block some of them off? There's an old woman who lives in a cottage out on the Cape. She gives the eye to Pokemon. It's a bit unnerving. Oh, we did have a cut user. I suppose we're at the point where we can afford to just forget that. That fellow there, he moved here from Celadon City. He started up a shop with his younger brother. You have to wonder if he knew what he was getting into. Oh, hello, welcome to my shop. We've only opened up recently. Our merchandise is limited, but I hope it can serve your needs. And then eventually he starts getting more rare items here and there. Cute little game corner. Now, where's Lostel gotten to today? She always brings me lunch every day about now. You there. Are you a friend of Lostel's? Have you seen Lostel around? I don't know where she might be. She should have been here long ago. Lostel's a cutie. She got my looks. So what if something's happened to my Lostel? Please help me find her. Please go search 3 Island. Manifesting Hey Hunt for Strive welcomes in. Ah, what is this game corner? How much sadder can this get? Those clowns. They said they'd be waiting on the island, so where are they? Hey, you! Is this the only 3 Island around here? Try waking up before you crawl out of bed, you punk. This is 2 Island. Move it. Get your filthy motorbike out of my place. Bro brought that in the door. Huh? Oh, gotcha. These islands are confusing. Yeah. Would you look at that? That punk scuffed up my floor. Bro drove a motorcycle indoors. But delighted to see you, Zen. I don't think we've had a chance to fight in the new stride yet, have we? I might be able to fit some time in for that this weekend. I've been wanting to for a long time. Last week was busy. This week might also be pretty busy. I perfected the ultimate move of its type, but will no one take it for future use? You, that Dragonair. No, I was just mistaken. You know what might end up being a better alternative? Wait a minute. Yeah, we have Waterfall in this game. Do we have the HM for it yet? No, we don't. We never got the HM for Rock Smash either. Well, yeah, we fit in time when we can both make it work, Zen. But I am delighted to see you, and I do hope that I do have more of a chance to see you in the future. Where's Rock Smash? Oh, it is on one island. Wait, we haven't needed it this entire time. Is it never actually necessary to get through this game? Or, let me guess, wild guess. You needed it in the original Red and Blue, but then they rerouted the game to where you'd only need, like, strength instead. I'm super happy with the strive changes myself, Zen. I'm so excited. Might have some chance to practice some matches with a friend tomorrow. Aye, who are you? I'll call the police. Hey, lady, fork over some spending money. We're the Kanto Rider Federation. Vroom, ba-ba-ba-boom, vroom. My back's wimpy, so I have to make exhaust noises myself. After 2 seasons worth of trauma, you don't think that's going away anytime soon? He's not nearly as much of a problem anymore, that's for sure. Hey there, how's it going? What am I doing here, you ask? Why, I'm prospecting for gold. When I strike it rich, I'm buying a house in Kanto. Slowly over time, he carves out more of that. And that, I remember, is where I ended up running into my first Johto Pokemon. Kin Island of Family Bonding. Yahoo! From this day on, this island belongs to us. You got more people on motorbikes and oh! Rare rocks and gems are displayed. Oh, so that's probably the house of that guy. Are you the boss? Go back to Kanto right now. Ha! We just got here, pal. What's with the hostile attitude? It's mighty cold of you. Your gang of followers have been raising havoc on their bikes. Do you have any idea how much trouble they've caused us on the island? No, man, I don't get it at all. Look at this place. What do you do for entertainment? You ought to be thanking us for livening up this sleepy village. But hey, if you insist, you can try making us leave. Here, you cowards. So tough in a pack. You, what are you staring at? Don't you know it's not polite? You want to make something of it or what? Yeah, I like your guts. You'll be losing money to me, but... Biker Goon? That better not be his actual name. I suppose we eventually gotta get Waterfall on Nitori as well. We don't have physical special split in this game, so it's not like we can save Waterfall for Dragonite where it's gonna make more sense. Oh man, don't you dare laugh! Aren't you from Kanto? You should be on our side. These boys having a little territory war out here. Okay, so... they're all labeled as Goon, but I'm gonna pretend that that means they are all actually named Goon. Also, we need to put Dragonair on point. I put Nitori up here because I wanted to talk to the move tutor, but I remembered we're gonna have to have Waterfall at some point. Rain Dance is cute, but we don't have a reason to be doing it here. Stop fooling around! What's the matter with you, getting all hot like that? Totally uncool, man. We invited the boss out here, but you had to mess it up. You embarrassed us, man. Yeah, it could be worse. We're losing out on so much experience not abusing the lucky egg here. But are there any other games that you've been up to lately, Zen? Anything you're super excited for? I've been wanting to fit in time for Grand Blue again, myself. Boss, I'm telling you, you gotta do something about this kid. I've been watching you, and I'd say you've done enough. What are you, their friend or something? Then I guess you'll be battling me in their place. Paxton. What a joke. Not games you're immediately playing, but you happen thinking of sitting down to check out the Grand Blue Gacha. Interesting. I've put gotchas aside myself. We're still like 3 weeks away from the last time that I did a Uma Musume stream. And I don't even know if I plan on going back. Well, I will be going back to finish that run, but I don't think it's going to be a regular stream thing. I don't even think I plan on playing it regularly outside of stream either. How dare you? Actually, we should have sent out Blocky. This'll work. Play that game way too much, I understand. I have it on my phone. I could probably fit in some time to play it, like, on break at work. It's the main game you play with IRL, so it's hard to drop it. That's completely fair still. If it's something you play with friends, that makes perfect sense, though. Alright, enough. We'll leave you like you wanted. We'll be happy to see the last of this boring island. Yeah, go right on hanging around with these hay seeds. It'd be fantastic if someone strong as you lived here. I hope you'll at least stay here a while. I beg your pardon, you're looking for Lastel. Lastel went off towards Bond Bridge a while ago. Thank you, those goons were nothing but bad trouble. Oh look, your Pokemon got hurt on my account. You've got seriously impressive Pokemon with you. Either that or Smash Brothers as the game to play with IRLs? Yeah, unfortunate. I adore Smash Brothers conceptually. I am not a fan of Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's okay. I think it's more of a hardware issue for me than anything else. Because it's a game that everyone and their brother plays on, like, HD TVs, I've always had an issue with dealing with input lag on that game. I don't even think that's inherent to the game itself. Me? I'm not Lastel. She's probably gone to the berry forest, I think. She picks berries there for making lunch. But I've had too much time trying to work with the input delay. And it not turning out too well. Well, that goes to Porygon. Funny how Porygon 2 becomes so unstoppable in Gen 5 after the Eviolite happens. Or was Eviolite Gen 4? It feels like a Gen 5 item. Because it actually has a cool design. Wait. There we go. Funny how the tree respawns off-screen. Cute. Sidewinder Nitui. Let's have Blocky. You can be out here. Quiet nature. What a find. We'll teach you what our favorite Pokemon is. I am a huge Melee fan, though. Love me some Smash Bros. Melee. Just double up on one of them, and if you get the KO, great. Oh, not quite. Excellent, use of your turn, y'all. I have fun playing Ultimate, but I don't think I'd ever let myself take it seriously. I've only ever played it in the context of playing with friends, and in that case, we're always doing, like, free-for-alls and stuff like that. We don't try to be tryhards about it playing serious 1v1 kind of rules and such like that. Wasn't that fun? I hope we can battle again. We could run around doing a lot of Versus Seeker shenanigans in a lot of places. Where are you off to in such a hurry? Excuse you, there's a little girl that's lost in a forest somewhere. Pardon me for thinking it's important to rescue children. Alright, I think we're going to rescue Lostel and then we'll be done with our stream for the evening. We're at about the time to end right now, but I can go over a bit. Luckily, I am past the weekend, which has been setting up to be the difficult part of this work week. I've got 2 more days of work, so days 5 and 6 out of 6 days in a row. And luckily, weekdays are usually a lot easier for me than weekends. We'll see how the schedule changes. Yeah, that rock looked awfully suspicious. You know, I called it being urgent to go save, a child. But we can take a detour for a little bit of experience. Who knows what we're gonna find in there? It's cute that we have a lot of Johto going on in the 7 Islands here. One of those other ROM hacks I mentioned is supposed to be doing something. Oh, you know what? We need to take the EXP share off of any of the other ones that we've got around here. Get all that experience for Sidewinder. Bum 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 bum. That other ROM hack has Hoenn and Kanto. It's supposed to eventually integrate Johto. I don't know that they're gonna have the memory for it. But a huge Pokemon game with a lot of different regions would be a blast to play. Yeah, let's just get Sidewinder all the experience we can muster. But yeah, it's been, what, roughly 2 years since the last time we did anything Mon's Core, and then 2.5 since the last time we played any Pokemon game. There's some popular niches I can occupy, and I suppose there's no harm in doing that. I'm seeing people are still making Skyrim video essays. And with the 7,000 hours I have in that game. Maybe that's my big break. Find some random topic in Skyrim to make a video essay about. I've had ideas, but I don't know what I'd want to sit down and make a full-blown video essay about. One of the biggest ideas I've had, of course, is the Y'all have seen, like, there's some talk going around about, Urian from Street Fighter being, like, quote-unquote, the coolest fighting game character ever. Which is true. He is a very, very cool and interesting character in terms of gameplay functions. But I'd like to argue Heihyun's even cooler, because we have Aegis Reflector meterless, and it's controllable. I've been thinking about making a full-blown video essay about, hey, here's why Heihyun's just such an amazing and cool Pokemon. Not Pokemon, fighter. My mind is split into two different spots right now. Yo, when do we get the Guilty Gear Pokemon spin-off? Pick your starter, Soul Bad Guy Kisuke or Leo Whitefang. Welcome to the Berry Forest. Be friendly and share berries with others in Pokemon. So here's a grinding spot where you get to do a lot of just grabbing berries off the ground. These respawn every few hundred steps or so. Luckily, we have a way to get our way to the end a lot quicker. Huh, we never got a Drowsy either. I'll be honest, I'm not that concerned. Mystery Dungeon ruined Drowsy for me. Oh, a little item for us to grab. Venomoth would be cool if it was just poison flying. I get why they have to make it bug. Flying seems to be such a common thing they have on so many different Pokemon. I'm sad that it's like its own type and then sometimes it's Levitate, which deprives a lot of Pokemon of having a more unique ability. I mean, we have situations like Flygon where, yeah, Dragon Ground, incredibly cool. We still need to account for the fact that they can fly. So Levitate's the ability you have to deal with. Not to mention, most Pokemon that have Levitate have that as their only ability. Like, Bronzong is the exception. But most other Pokemon, they have to keep that part of their identity intact. Any of those little spots on the ground will randomly spawn a berry every so 100 steps. This is how we get them back since we can't manually plant them. Oh, please help. A scary Pokemon appeared there a little while ago. It kept scaring. It made Lostel scared. I'm too scared to move, but I want to go home. Oh, here it comes again. No, go away. It's scaring me. Oh, right. FireRed Leaf Green would have also ruined Hypno and Drowsy for me. Yeah, we know these are not very good guys. I thought it was just something from Mystery Dungeon, but isn't that a usual Pokédex entry where they, like, kidnap children? Like, that's why they do the hypnosis thing? Which is a shame, because a Tapir's a cool Pokemon, especially with folklore of... Or, Tapir's a cool animal to base a Pokemon off of. Ah, that was scary. Thank you. Lostel came to pick some berries. You can have this. What's your name? Lostel's scared, so can I go with you to my daddy's house? Okay, let's go home. So you rescued Lostel. How can I thank you? Lostel, darling, forgive me. Daddy didn't know you were scared and in trouble. It's okay, Daddy. I got to be friends with Xander. Listen, listen. Please show me you being cool again. Oh, what's that? You're saying this is for me? How did you know that I love rare rocks and gems? You sure know how to make a guy happy. Isn't that fanfare also in Ruby Sapphire Emerald? That exact one. That's specifically for receiving some key items, I think. Oh, I see. This is from Bill. You have to thank him for me. You know, you've been fantastic. I want you to have this. Boing, boing. Have you tried the jumping game? The Pokemon you can enter. Boing. Some go boing. And some go boing. Did you know that? Boing. You know, until we have to deal with Waterfall, why not give ourselves a little laugh? Okay, y'all, we'll have to focus on making Sidewinder evolve into Dragonite next stream, so we finally get to keep a designated flyer then. Let's get Hydro Cannon, I believe it is. Two Island is cute. I think it's precious that there's a quaint little spot here. This lady's got it made, too. You've got your own little waterside home on the spot of mountain. The view from here has to be amazing. This Blastoise is worthy of learning my ultimate move. Will you allow it? Will you allow your Blastoise to learn my Hydro Cannon? Yeah, it's Hyper Beam, but that might be more useful than Return. Blastoise has the defense to survive a turn or two. I didn't think I could teach that move while I still lived. The exertion. I mean, like, absolutely adorable little waterfall here. Also, this one square of movable terrain. Traversable terrain. Oh, what do we got? Nothing to write home about. Alright. We'll talk to Bill and Celio, and we'll be out. Because this is otherwise a bizarre questline that I wouldn't remember the entire set of details from. I wonder what else is usually going around here. Oh, whoops. That probably took us to one island, so we're probably in the right spot anyway. Yeah. Oh, hey, Xander! What kept you so long? Been out having a good time? We got it done. The PCs are up and running. The job went incredibly quick. Bill is one amazing guy. No! There was almost nothing left for me to do. Celio, I have to hand it to you. You've learned a lot. Oh, really? Well, there you have it. I'm finished with the job. We should head back to Kanto. Celio, I'll be seeing you again. Xander, I'm really sorry that we sent you off alone today. I promise I will show you around these islands sometime. If we didn't have access to our Pokemon boxes, would it have been possible for us to kind of like soft block us there with weak Pokemon? I don't remember it telling us that we could get back to Vermilion from there. I gotta look into that. Hey, wasn't that a long cruise? My buddy Celio seemed to enjoy your company. I'm sure he'd welcome you if you were to visit him again. If you have a tri-pass, you can always take the ferry there from Vermilion Port. Alright, thanks for your company. And off he goes, walking into the ocean. Alright, y'all. Actually, I think... Hold on, I want to do a quick surf through here. I think we fought every trainer on this route, too. No, we have not. So, yeah. Since we haven't, then here is where we start our stream from next time. Once we get through this little fight. Excuse you. Dragonite evolves once we get around to about level 50 with everyone. I think that should be right about the time that we beat the 8th gem. Because we don't have many trainers between here and there, do we? So I think we head immediately to the 8th gem and then probably figure out things with Zapdos, because we should be around a good level by then, too. Or maybe we get all our way up Victory Road, since I imagine that's going to require some strength puzzles and such while we get in there. Then we head over and capture Zapdos, around the time everyone should be level 50 or just underneath it. At that point, our team should be complete, aside from an evolution necessary for a few of our mons. Alright, y'all. We heal. We set our compass north once we exit. Let's check and see who is doing any sort of interesting streams on the friends list right now. I think Chris might be having a karaoke celebration, right? Oh wow, Rosie's playing Slay the Spire. That's cool. Whoops, walked into the wrong spot. Yeah, I think we can raid in on Rosie and see how she's doing. Or, wait. Queen of Rodents. We don't get to see her streaming very often. Playing Pokemon Champions. Okay, since... Did she get a design update? I think she did. Alright, alright. So we will be raiding on Queen of Rodents instead. Let me go ahead and grab that URL for y'all. I'll let y'all know when our raid begins. And our raid message, let's see, what do we call it? You know what? She's playing Pokemon, she'll know what we mean when we say. Oh, it's not sending on Twitch. Alright. Alright, I gotta mess with some Twitch stuff again, so... There we go, manually sent that there. Looks like everything is good. I will pop the link over to y'all on the Twitch side of things. Schedule for this week is listed in the Discord. Tomorrow we're doing Silk Song. Wednesday will be Tomodachi Life. Saturday looks like it's going to be Barony. I gotta figure out what's happening for Friday and Sunday. I know Lily is having her big Streamiversary celebration, which I'm probably going to be popping in on for a lot of it. Other than that... Yep. Kind of a mix-up on what ends up happening, but today I have gotten a more determinate idea on what we end up doing on Saturday. That one will probably be only on Twitch, but tomorrow and Wednesday, expect YouTube streams. And then, I guess if I don't have anything else to do on Friday, I'll see if I can squeeze in, like, Uma or Thrive, or even Deadlock. Alright, y'all. Been a wonderful stream. Thank you everyone so dearly for your attendance. And class is dismissed.